Okay, now it says I'm live. All right, it finally says I'm live. I don't know if it was. I'm not sure what this problem was. It was giving me bad connectivity. Now it says live. 12 seconds in at whatever. I have no idea. Sorry if you were waiting and you came and left. My apologies. I'm not sure what went on with that. That was just ridiculous. The internet said my health was poor. I feel just fine. My health seems to be superlative. I went to the dentist today. I had a chipped tooth fixed. I had a little filling replaced. So I'm fine. My health is good. But I guess it's, is that so? If I'm here, just I guess I'm live. I assume I'm live. Um, it wasn't for the longest time. So, for the longest time, whoa, for the longest time, whoa. I don't know. So I'm guessing I'm live now. Nobody's watching. People were here and they left, but I don't know what that means. Um, so here I am. Okay. Ta-da. Um, all right. Well, I'll just get into it. If people come back, great. If you don't, well, you know what? You missed out. All right. Because I got pictures and everything tonight. Um, so birthdays. We'll start with birthdays. Oh, Heinz. Here you go. Heinz. That's this. That's this thing right there. It's Heinz. So, right. Go check it out. Yeah, it's something I was in. Anyway, so yeah, it says that there's no views, no analytics. I don't know what's happening here. I'm confused by all of this. Sorry. Anyway, let's see. Birthdays today. Gene Autry. Now, Gene Autry was the singing cowboy. I guess he's the one who sung "In the Jailhouse Now," "In the Jailhouse," Now, which was then covered by the Soggy Dollar, the "Oh Brother, Wherefore Art Thou," the Soggy Bottom Boys. But it's also covered by like all sorts of people like Johnny Cash and real artists that sang it. Um, Gene Autry also did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting that he actually did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And he was the owner of the Major League Baseball team, the Angels, from 1961 to 1997. So he was also a business guy. So Gene Autry definitely parlayed his musical success into business success and was quite a business guy as well, as a singing cowboy. Who knew, right? Also wanted to say Jerry Lee Lewis. Now, Jerry Lee Lewis, I knew a little bit about him, but I fell into the rabbit hole. So it'll be a little truncated today. So, whole lot of love and a whole lot of shaking going on. Great Balls of Fire. Okay, his nickname was the Killer. Now, it said he might have gotten that from when he was a kid and his dad, because he was playing piano at like 7, go out and he was busking, go kill him. Go out and be the killer, kill him. And that was one of the things. He was considered rock and roll's like one of the greatest and first wild men of rock and roll. So there's just so many crazy shit. So, he lost most of the popularity he had when he married his 13-year-old cousin. All right. So if you don't know the story about that, yeah, he married his 13-year-old cousin. So that kind of put the whole on his popularity. It kind of waned there for a bit. He wound up performing for 70 years. One of the shows that he did, they said it's one of the greatest live performances ever. It was in 1964 at the Star Club in Berlin. The Beatles, if you Google Star Club, the Beatles show up first. But Jerry Lee Lewis did it too. You can hear this very enthusiastic crowd. But I guess he was I listened to almost the whole thing. He just was a wild man. Now, today's his birthday, the anniversary of his birthday. All right. So he has 4 Grammys, a Lifetime Achievement Award, 2 Grammy Halls of Fame. He's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. Now, on his birthday, because I did a little more digging, on his birthday, okay, this is just crazy, crazy, crazy. That's not, okay, wait, hold on, so I got to find it. On his birthday, when he turned 41, okay, 41 in 1976, apparently he was a big drinker, and they were in an office building. So Jerry Lewis, on his birthday, while shooting at soda bottles, or I'm going to put a bullet through this door, someone else said, he wound up shooting his bass player in the chest twice with a 357 Magnum. He was in fact arrested for that, for shooting a gun in the city limits, not for shooting his bass player, but for discharging a weapon in the city limits. His bass player survived, thankfully, and did sue the crap out of him. He also was arrested now for waving a gun in front of Elvis's Graceland. It's just the stuff about him was just crazy. So yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis, the baddest bad boy and the first wild man of rock and roll, considered to be one of the best pianists of the 20th century for rock and roll as well, and married his 13-year-old cousin, so he's also a creep. I mean, there it is, Jerry Lee Lewis. Madeline Kahn, born on this day. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. Remember, she sang in both of those. She was apparently a singer as well. I thought Madeline Kahn was great. I loved every time, any movie she was in, she was just funny because she just, I don't know. What? If you've never seen Blazing Saddles, well, you're missing out. If you have seen Blazing Saddles, you remember Madeline Kahn. Oof. Same in Young Frankenstein. She was just, oh, the thrill finally found me. Madeline Kahn. Mike Pinerio, from the song Ride, Captain, Ride Upon Your Mystery Trip. Les Claypool of Primus, born on this day. Ian Batesor of Jesus Jones, born on this day, September the 29th. Brett Adamson of Suede. I like Suede. Larry Linville, MASH, Frank Burns. I loved that character. Poor Frank. He always took the abuse, but yeah, that was just the Weasley Frank Burns character was just perfect for Larry Linville, born on this day. And also an Andrew Dice Clay birthday today. The Dice Man himself, Ford Fairlane. I don't know what happened. He fell into obscurity. I think, his brand of humor kind of just became politically incorrect there. He just kind of was like gone. Just like Carlos Mencia. I actually saw him live in Vegas. And he made it extremely uncomfortable for you, because he had these jokes that were just completely inappropriate. But, you were just like, he's like, you want to laugh, but you're not going to laugh because there's people that are just like, right. It's funny, but it was so inappropriate. And he just kind of fell off. He would put the cigarette around his head and smoke it. Andrew Dice Clay, happy birthday. Now, this is weird, okay? This is the deaths today, people that died today. And this list that I found, and again, was just weird. So ready for this one, okay? Rudolph Diesel, the guy that invented the diesel engine. Bindo Maserati of the Maserati racing team. Henry Ford II, of course, the grandson of Henry Ford. Charles Addams, who created the Addams Family cartoons, ADD-AMS. And Augustus Gussie Busch of Anheuser-Busch, also owned the St. Louis Cardinals and was the Bush president from 46 to 75. How weird is that for all of these things, like Diesel, Maserati, Ford, Adams, and Bush to all die in the same day? Not a good name, not a good day for namesakes. It's weird. I feel like sometimes I see like on this day, like all these drummers were born, and on this day, all these people were born, and on this day, it's reporters were born. So I'm wondering if there is something to the zodiac that, you're born under a certain star and you have this something. I don't know. I might fall down that rabbit hole and believe that at some point, because that one it's just very coincidental that all of these names that are just there. And I'm sure it's coincidence, but it just seems, strangely coincidental. That's all I'm saying. Also passed away today, Roy Lichtenstein. Now, I forget to Google Roy Lichtenstein. He went to the Ohio State University. I actually have an autographed lithograph from Roy Lichtenstein. He had a big piece of art that was at the airport forever, and they took it down. I forget what the controversy was with Liechtenstein, but he graduated, like, I believe, from the Ohio State University and was like here. And I don't know. There was a bunch of controversy. I don't know what it is. I think his artwork's at the airport now, or maybe somewhere else. He like donated this big piece of art. He also did all these like cartoon things, and that's what I have. I have a lithograph, a cartoon that he personally autographed. So, okay, Liechtenstein, and then Tony Curtis, actor Tony Curtis, also passed away today. So that's a list of people that died. Sorry. All the people who died. All right. On this, remember, no particular order. I jump from decade to decade. I try and keep it somewhat cohesive, but then it just gets lost. So Buddy Holly, his second single was released today in 1957 on September the 29th. And that was Oh Boy. Now remember, the problem is with Buddy Holly, he died at 22. So he never really got to get into his stride. He only had a couple of hits because basically he got killed in a plane crash in like less than 2 years from now. If you look at that Wayback Machine. 1958, Summertime Blues. Who did that? I forget. But it was actually number 8 in the U.S., number 18 in the U.K. There ain't no use for the summertime blues. Da-na-na-na. You've heard that song. All these songs that I kind of listen to, I'm like, okay, I've never heard the song. It's obscure. I won't play it. But yes, you've heard that song for sure. That's definitely one of those. 1961, Bob Dylan records his very first recording session. He plays harmonica as a backup artist singer for Caroline Hester, whoever the hell Caroline Hester was. But that was his first recording session. He didn't sing. He didn't play anything. He played the freaking harmonica. Someone has to do that, right? You got to play the harmonicas. 1962, Alley Cat by Bent Fabric. It's a piano. You've heard it. Dun 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 dun. There's no words, but it's called Alley Cat, and it's a piano thing. It was number 7 on the Billboard charts. And I was like, yes, wait, again, there's a lot of instrumentals in the 60s that actually charted really well. We don't have instrumentals now because everyone needs to sing and be famous. But yeah, I guess there was a lot more instrumentals back then. Because to attest to that, the next on the list is Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs, which went to number 3. And I guarantee you've heard that one as well. Because it's been in movies and soundtracks and all sorts of things, because it's one of those, like, again, Google it and you play it, you'd be like, oh, I've heard that. Unless you're 13 and you're probably not watching me anyway, because I'm some dude that you've never seen and like, you aren't doing like ASMR. World's smallest violin saying, I don't care. 1963, the Rolling Stones set out on their first tour. 1963, and they're still performing. Think about that. That's 60 freaking years ago, 62 years ago. They opened for Bo Diddley and the Everly Brothers. Bo Diddley. There was something with Bo Diddley that was also today, but I just didn't write it down because I was like, whatever. It was like, I think it was like his song was like number 58. I'm like, okay, well, that's seems a little high. As was some of the people that I'm going to talk about today, apparently. Like, I don't know. The man who is the Wild Man, nicknamed Killer. Mm-hmm. Last thing, the Pips are the first ones to record I Heard It Through the Grapevine. They didn't write it. I didn't write down who wrote it, but they were the first ones to record it and then make a hit out of it. Apparently, somebody else wrote it. That's how that works. 1967, on this day, September the 29th, Mickey Hart joins the band The Grateful Dead. How did that happen? Oh, damn it. You know what? The only reason that happened is because I was waiting so long for the stupid internet to come back up that the timer switched off. So I was expecting it to be long away from now, but because it was not live for so long, pilot error. My bad. I totally have to own that one. Anyway, Mickey Hart played at the Straight Theater in San Francisco, California on this day, joining the Grateful Dead on stage for the first time in 1967, September the 29th. 1973, Grand Funk Railroad, produced by Todd Rundgren, released We're an American Band, and it went to #1 on this day. And I know you know that song too because you've heard that, because that's been in so many. It's like every radio station ever played that. It's been in movie soundtracks and everything else. We're an American band. Dun, 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 dun. You've heard it. I know you have. And I'm not a great singer. I don't have a great voice. I will admit that fully, thoroughly, and consciously that I'm not a great singer. But you're making me do it. 1976, Boy George expelled from school. That's all it was. I didn't bother to look. Didn't care. I was like, what school? What? Nope. Didn't do it. I didn't fall down the rabbit hole. It's like, nope, don't care. You're not going to get me, Boy George. And then 1976, Jerry Lee Lewis shoots his bass player twice in the chest while shooting at bottles. Oh, I love that. That's just beautiful. 1977, Billy Joel releases his 5th studio album, The Stranger. Columbia Records marks it as the best non-compilation selling album of all times for any of their artists and catalogs. Best non-compilation album sales of all times for Columbia Records. That's how they market. We sold the most. We made the most money. I mean, that is how you mark success, right? Those who died with the most toys wins. Right? That's how that works. So I was talking about somebody who's going to die with the most toys. Apparently, this is a person who's a landlord for someone that I know. And they were saying, oh my God, he's the cheapest guy in the world. He has like, like he houses his daughter, in this like rat-infested apartment building with her shacked up boyfriend. I'm like, what? Really? I was like, seriously? Oh yeah. And he's like so cheap, he won't even like fix stuff. And so she just lives in this rat-infested apartment building that he owns. And I'm like, seriously? She goes, oh yeah, he doesn't fix anything. Like, and when the fire department came to ask about some code compliance thing, he got mad at the renters because, what do you mean the fire department? You let them in the building to see this? Like, it's the fire department. If they want to come in and do an inspection, you kind of have to let them. They come with the court order and we're the fire department. Of course we can come in and inspect for this fire hazard. That's what we do. Once you get a court order. But yeah, so I don't know why I went there, but that's just, Columbia Records. He's with the most toys wins. So apparently, yeah, she was just saying that today that, what's he going to, he's this old rich guy that what's he going to do? Take it with him into his coffin? Just spend it, man. Spend it. I don't know what that's. Clearly, I did not have that problem of holding on to my monies. 1977, the Disco single. Disco, they considered this single. It's the Star Wars theme Cantina, the Cantina Band. It's the Star Wars theme Cantina Band, but it's like the disco version by Mecco, M-E-C-O, like a Mecco wafer, Mecco is #1. I listened to it and I was like, really? This is #1? You can try it, but I would say don't. It's, it's the Star Wars theme, but it's disco and the Cantina's disco-y. And I was like, this is terrible. This is #1? Really? I was like, wow, man, some of you people have no freaking taste. Sorry. It just didn't do it for me at all. Was not buying it. Whatever they were selling, I was not buying. It just wasn't there for me. 1977, James Brown's entire band walks out on him, citing, and I quote, "We are underpaid and overworked." I'm shocked that I never had that happen at the radio station. I mean, I got free concert tickets. I got swag for you. but definitely underpaid and overworked. We all were. That's what made it fun, apparently. At least for me. I hope for everybody else. Nick Lowe, Cruel to Be Kind is number 12 in the UK on this day, September 29th, 1979. You gotta be cruel to be kind in the right land. Yes, gotta be cruel to be kind. Lonesome Loser by the Little River Band is number 6th and their 3rd consecutive top 10 on this date, September 29th, 1979 as well. That was a Kiss song. 1979 as well. The Police release on this day, Message in a Bottle, which goes to number 1 in the UK. We know that song. In 1984, now see, this is, look, I actually went and did stuff today. So, ta-da, look at this, right? Oh, geez, that's not working at all. We can go right there. Look at this. Woo, ready? And ta-da, look. I have something that actually shows me with somebody. There you go. This is Drive by the Cars, written by Rick Ocasek. Goes to number 3, and it's the band's biggest hit single ever. I was also listening to Can Do after this. But look, that's me and Rick Ocasek right there. And you know what the other guy is leaning on him? That's Kid Leo. Kid Leo from, I guess, the Buzzard up in Cleveland. I didn't know who this guy was when I met him. We were at a party, and we're hanging out, and I saw Rick Ocasek right away because Rick's dead, but I know someone that went to school with him and was on the track team with him that I'm related to. How funny is that? I was like, wait, what? That's odd. Wait, you went to school with Rick Ocasek? I said, that's crazy. How fun. He's like, we're on the track team together. I'm like, what? I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. But anyway, Kid Leo. And my Kid Leo story is pretty funny because, again, I had no idea who this guy is, okay? And, he's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, hello, Leo. And I'm like, I love this guy. But this guy's like, what are you, like a cartoon character? And again, I'm not from Ohio originally, so I had no idea when I met them. Kid Leo. And we sat there and we were hanging out and we were drinking. I have an unopened LP of The Stranger. Nice. Nice job, Todd. It's keep it that way. It'll be worth something someday. And so we're hanging with Kid Leo, drinking martinis, and he said something about Liar's Poker. I'm like, okay, sure. So Liar's Poker is basically you bust out a dollar bill and you look at the serial number and you say, it's like, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You say, okay, I have 2 2s. And he adds as many 2s as he has or doesn't have in bluffs. Well, I've got 3 2s. Okay, well, I've got 3 3s. And I've got 5 7s. And you kind of go until you're bluffing because I don't have any 7s. So unless you have 7 7s, and then you take their dollar. We wound up playing Liar's Poker for like an hour at this party, just staying at the bar, pulling out dollar after dollar, telling him, hey, bartender, can you change this $20 bill? I need 20 singles. And we just sat there playing Liar's Poker for like an hour, just laughing about crap. And again, he's like, yeah, I'm Kid Leo. I'm like, oh, Kid Leo. I'm like, okay. But again, not knowing who he was at all. And then later on, people were like, oh my God, you seem to really hit it off with Kid Leo. That's really cool, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy. They're like, do you know who he is? I'm like, no, I have no idea who he was. He was just a guy I met at the party. Tell me he's Kid Leo. It was a rock and roll kind of party, so I thought he was somebody, but I had never heard of him before. We had to stay in touch a little bit because he was like, yeah, I like you. You're a good guy. I'm like, okay. Anyway, that's the story of Kid Leo. 1984, on this day, September 29th, from the album Purple Rain, from our friend, the man, the myth, the legend, Prince. Let's Go Crazy goes to number 1 on the charts. Prince of the Revolution. Purple Rain, we talked about the Super Bowl halftime show, considered one of the best in history. When he closed with Purple Rain, and it actually started raining out, and they had all the lights in the stadium go purple, and it looked like purple rain and mist and everything else. So, someone was thinking about Prince at that moment and said, that's a great thing, Mr. Prince. Again, another one of those accidental ODs. Don't do drugs, kids. And he was supposed to be like not it doesn't take anything because it was against his religion. So how did this happen? Opioids? Come on, man. Really? Prince? Damn it. I have a picture of Prince somewhere. And that's a story for another time from in Vegas when he went to his club. I think I told the story, but that was an interesting one. 1989, Glenn Frey joins the Eagles bandmate Don Henley on stage. Now, I played golf with Glenn Frey once. Again, just these randomly stupid things. We were in Colorado. It might have been at the same time that I met Rick Ocasek. We used to go to Colorado for this thing called a AAA Summit. We were not a AAA station. We were sort of one of the founding members of it. Remember I told you, if you remember, for a while we were very fluffy. The program director at the time, Tom Tuber, rest his soul, said, no more screaming guitars. There'll be no more screaming guitars on this radio station. And we became a little bit fluffy. And there was a new format coming out called AAA, which was sort of this adult alternative. So it was more like John Prine and Indigo Girls and Melissa Etheridge. So it was, I just called it fluffy. That was sort of what my take on it was. So we went to these summits in Boulder, Colorado. So Jewel, Toward the Wet Sprocket, play at like these, little private events for us. But Glenn Frey was doing one of these things, and we went golfing with him. He was quite a good golfer. I was in the foursome behind him, so I got to talk to him briefly. But yes, he was quite a good golfer. And I am not a good golfer. I was a good drinker, but not a good golfer. It made for always a fun time to go out there and chase the little white ball on the course. But yeah, I don't do it consistently enough, and it's one of those things where you need a lot of practice. So to this day, I'm still a really, really crappy golfer, and now a crappy drinker too. 1991, My Own Private Idaho is released on this day, September 29th of 1991, with Keanu Reeves and Rivers Phoenix. Rivers no longer with us, died in the Viper Club at the young age of whatever it was. Don't do drugs, kids. Keep telling you that. Don't do drugs. 1996, Alanis Morissette finishes up. Woo, that's loud. Finishes up her final show of her first tour in Houston, Texas. 1998, Britney Spears. Now, okay, Britney releases her single "Baby One More Time." It goes to number 1 in 25 countries. Amazingly enough, though, in 2021, Jamie Spears, her dad, finally is suspended as her conservator under allegations of abusing the power of her conservator. So, yeah, dad had all the money and all the control over his daughter for decades. And control the money and everything else, what Britney could do. Not that Britney was completely sane and able to take care of herself, but, come on, man. What are you doing to poor Britney? We liked Britney. She wasn't a horrible person. She was just confused. She was, all those things, right? Let's see. Where are we at next? Here we go. 1998, Joni Mitchell releases her 16th album, the Canadian rocker Joni Mitchell. Totally rocker. No, that's Fluffy, CD 101. Fluffy. Taming the Tiger. In 2011, Chris Isaak received the STAR Award, Star Award, in Stockton, California, whatever that means. Now, that was someone that I got to meet a couple times. Chris Isaak was actually a really good, cool cat. So here's Chris Isaak from the radio station when we were at the 503 South Front Street location. Look at that hair and that fatness. My God, look how I look like I must weigh like, I don't know what. Jeez Louise, look at this. Man, I am fat happy and looks like I'm really stoned. I possibly was any of those things in those days. I'm not sure when that picture was taken, but that was, yeah. Okay, good job there, Randy. But then here's also Mr. Chris Isaak, and this was back in the early day. This is when we met Chris Isaak for the first time. That's at the Newport Music Hall. I remember that show for sure. that was good old Matty Francescan there. But he was a really nice guy. I remember we talked about his movie role because Chris Isaak was in the Silence of the Lambs. He was one of the police guys who said, clear the elevator. And we talked about that and how he got the role and everything else. And, you know, he was a big West Coast San Francisco guy. But yeah, really, really interesting guy. Very, very down to earth. And one of those people very generous with his time. He was very happy to sit down. Hey, let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's just, you know, chill out. Not like I'm in a rush to go to a show and do sound checks or anything. But yeah, let's just chill out. It's kind of cool, man. So yeah, that's always nice to actually meet artists that were genuine, like really, really genuine, that had genuine interest in people. That or they're really good sociopaths. I don't know which. So that's what I always discovered. 2018 on this day, September 29th, why? Kanye West changes his name to Ye. Okay, done. 1982, Cheers premieres. Remember, jumping decades, just going from, you know, the 80s. So I'm going to joke like somewhere really far away because we were just in 2023, Kanye West. Cheers premieres on this day, September 29th, 1982, with Ted Danson and Shelley Long, Norm, and Cliff Clavin, and the whole gang from Cheers. My friend Adam has had Norm interviewed a couple times at his golf course in California. He's got a mini putt-putt course. It's not like a big golf course. But anyway, I don't know what I'm listening to. Something's in the background, like really loud. 2023, The Sphere in Las Vegas opens on this day, September 29th, 2023, with a U2 concert in the 15,000 square foot surround sort of screen thing. I have not been to the Sphere. I know someone who just did that went to see The Wizard of Oz and said it was crazy wild. Like when the apples fall from the tree, they drop apples on you from above you. The flying monkeys are actually flying around. They're like little drones that are like flapping wings like flying monkeys. And when it's raining, it rains. And when the great and powerful Oz is there, there's huge bursts of flames. And I was like, okay, Great and Powerful Oz. I would like to go see that, please. Please make me win that. 1989. Now this is, again, don't do drugs, kids. 1989, Zsa Zsa Gabor is convicted of slapping a cop. Okay? So I had to go find a bunch of different sources to get all the information. So apparently what happened is Zsa Zsa Gabor in her $220,000 Rolls Royce is pulled over by a motorcycle cop because she had an unregistered tags. So her car wasn't registered. So the cop pulls her over, like, blah, 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 and she drives away like, darling, I'm not stopping for you. I'm too rich for you to pull me over for such nonsense. Pulls away. So after being pulled over for the second time by this cop, who then tells her to get out of the car, he's 6'4", she's 5 foot something. She slaps him and is arrested. They also discover that she's got a flask full of Jack Daniels in the car, that she smells like Jack Daniels. Zsa Zsa, what are you thinking, man? Anyway, so she gets arrested and they go to court. Now, apparently this became an absolute just train wreck of a court case. 3 weeks for slapping a cop. She had multiple witnesses. She accused the cop of having multiple gay lovers. She impugned the entire judicial system. Darling, I'm way too rich. What is this, Russia? What are you, communist Russia? So just made a farce of the entire proceedings. The judge, everybody had to deal with this mess of a train wreck that she created by doing this. She was accused of doing this as a publicity stunt, everything else. She wound up getting fined sentenced to jail and community service. So she had to pay, by the time she was all said and done, she got fined like $2,365 for slapping the cop, $365 for no registration, like $265 for open container, court costs, everything else. So it wound up costing her like $12,000 in costs. She did spend 3 days in jail, and when asked about it, she was basically, very dismissive, unapologetic, and unflinchingly like, I'm fine. Send me to jail because I'm just going to write my book, darling. It'll give me more time to write my book. And then she was also given 120 hours community service. But I just love that. He just slaps the cop. What? You can't put me over, darling. And she said it was self-defense because he was a big cop and that he manhandled her. Come on, Jaja. What are you thinking here? Anyway, I just found the whole thing to be rather amusing. Not white privilege or anything there, rock star. 1996 Nintendo 64 debuts in the US. 3 months after it is released in Japan. Because they wanted to beta test it with the Japanese people first, okay? We made it. We're going to test it first. We'll give it to you stupid Americans later. 2013, Breaking Bad airs its final episode of the 5-year run. Breaking Bad receives 12 Emmys and 2 Peabodys. Now, I met Aaron Paul when we went to Los Angeles. We got to go see Tears for Fears, and we went to LA Forum. And we went to go see Tears for Fears. While there, got to meet this guy and hang out with him for a little bit, Mr. Jimmy Kimmel. I could not find my picture of Aaron Paul. I remember meeting Aaron Paul, and it was very interesting because we were outside, and basically I was like, oh, hey. And he walks right up and he goes, hi, I'm Aaron. And I was like, oh, I'm Randy. Nice to meet you. He goes, oh, nice to meet you too. I was like, are you in for the show? I said, yeah, I'm a radio guy and from Columbus, Ohio. I go, oh, that's really neat. And he goes, yeah, I'm just here. He goes, I'm just a movie star here to watch music. And I was like, okay. I was like, he just very sort of, oh, that's what you do. This is what I do. I was like, oh, okay. And he was just very funny the way he just sort of came right out with like, hi, I'm Aaron Paul. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, oh, I'm Randy. Nice to meet you. Like, yeah, normally you have to sort of be the aggressor, but he was very much like, and who would you be? I'd love to say hello to you. So yeah, just sat there and talked to him for a couple of minutes, and then he left, and I fanboyed away. But then yes, going to meet Mr. Jimmy Kimmel. We were in the backstage area for the bands, and Miley Cyrus was there, and Miley was. We didn't get pictures with Miley because she was, how should I say it? Fucked up. That was the word I would use for this. She was fucked up at that time. She had been partying in the green rooms with the bands, apparently. We were in the tertiary green room area, not in the actual green room. There was the levels where you could get close and closest. She was in closest. But yes, we just sat there and had a lovely time with Mr. Kimmel for a minute. My friend Rob Goldklang, Goldie, introduced us. He was with one of the record companies. He was the SVP of Alternative on the West Coast, and he did all the bookings for Kimmel. So they were quite acquainted, getting to meet him. All right, that's enough of that one. Juliana Baker, birthday today. She, you probably know some songs from her, but she also did Boy Genius. That's how I know her, from Boy Genius, when she was with Phoebe Bridgers and Lucy Dacus, because we had Boy Genius at the station. It was sort of the super group of gals, which was very cool. Lucy Dacus is, cool. And Phoebe Bridgers, right? And then having Juliana Baker, we were like, oh, this is super cool. Boy Genius. Also wanted to say Halsey. I just put it down because it was Halsey. 2016 with the Chainsmokers. Her song Closer was #1 in the US, the UK, and 10 other countries. And last was Joshua Farrow of Paramore. 2009, they had a UK #1 with Brand New Eyes. And 2013, Paramore's fourth album went to #1. I ran out of time. I had other things, but I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm just not going to do it. Didn't have time to do it. Now, I did find a couple other pictures because I was talking about them the other day. So first, here's the picture of the man, Mr. Eddie George. So as you can see, you know, I'm no slouch. I'm a pretty good-sized guy. You know, I'm 6'2". I'm 200 pounds plus. As you can see, Eddie George is bigger than me, height-wise, and definitely girthy. Definitely a big guy. And the other guy, he's the guy Matt Eisner, I think, is, and he does the like Ninja Warrior Challenge thing. Matt, also a very big guy, not a slouch whatsoever. And then the other one is, this is the picture, as I said, there's Dave Matthews. That is a very young Dave Matthews, as you can see. This was at Vets Memorial before it got torn down. You know, look, I've got the 101 official CD 101 jacket on and everything. But yes, look at that skinny ass Dave Matthews right there. And again, I look like I'm super stoned, which again, I possibly could have been back then. This was a long, long, long time ago. This is definitely the Wayback Machine, Mr. Peabody. Just saying. And then I did have some other pictures, but I will save those for other days. But that's, of course, me as the cameo guy for that. So don't forget likes. Always hit like button because, you know, you got to like this, because at some point I'm going to try and monetize this stuff. If I can figure out how to do that, and I have some time to do it. Let's see. This Randsanity, I keep wanting to film things, but it's hard to do stuff by yourself. I'm so lonely. Didn't I talk about that song before? There was a song about that, right? Back here somewhere. Went to something today. Lonely Loser by the Little River Band. Kidding. Anyway. Yes, I went to the dentist today. My dentist's name is Dr. Hurt. I know. Is that the most ridiculous thing ever? For real. With 2 T's. Right? How does that occur? How do I have a dentist that's last name is Hurt? She's very nice. Don't get me wrong. She's actually a great dentist. Love her to death. But it's just kind of funny. Is that irony? I guess that's irony. I think, right? Ironic that you're a dentist named Dr. Hurt. Probably had a different profession. Just saying. That's how it is. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I know that because the green garbage cans are out. I saw the green garbage cans, and I put mine out myself today, so it will be Tuesday tomorrow. But it's also the last day of September, which I can't believe. When I went to Lowe's today, I was just overwhelmed by the sheer volume of Christmas. It's everywhere. I mean, there's a giant, like, 12-foot tall Bumble and Cornelius and I was like, what is this? This is just crazy. The whole, like, section of garden section and everything at Lowe's is all Christmas. And I'm looking for charcoal because I'm 90 degrees. I want a barbecue. I'm like, yeah, where's the charcoal? It used to be right here. Did you get rid of it for Christmas already? Because I know it's now Q4 is about to start, October, November, December. So, okay. But I still want a barbecue, damn it. You can barbecue any time of year. And Wednesday morning, don't forget, I will be dealing with the Bomb Squad. So I'll definitely get some video and try and make a little bit of a CapCut video out of that one. Doing my civic duty, that's kind of trying to do good things. And as Confucius said, because remember, I'm going to become a devotee of Confucianism. Do not do unto others what you would not want done to yourself. So spread kindness. Be nice to the barista at the coffee shop. Damn, wow, that's twice. I think that's a record. I don't think I've ever had 2 times in one show do that. I think that's definitely the record. There's no question that I allowed that to happen twice. Um, so lonely. The police. Yeah, that's true. Right. So lonely. Thank you. Yes, that's perfect. That's a good one. So yes. So you know, be kind. Don't beep your horn unless they're stopped and playing on their phone. Then feel free to lean on and flip them off as you drive by, because that's there. That's not on you. That's not bad karma for you. That's bad karma for them. So they're just getting it right back. That's that instant karma. So that one you can flip them off. But otherwise, you shouldn't be doing that. All right. I'm going to go take my fixed teeth and brush them because I had a cookie. And I'm going to have some more of my bubbly water and watch a little TV and then get up really early tomorrow because I have to get up at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., be down, ready for the bomb sniffing dogs. Apparently I like to work early. Doggies, working dogs get up at crack of dawn. Not like me, man. I don't like getting up working that early. Anyway, live TV. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll do this all again tomorrow in the last day of September. Time flies. Be well. See you tomorrow. Fade to black. Oh my God, that is so loud. What is going on upstairs? Crazy, crazy.